Hey everybody, welcome back to the Overwatch channel on YouTube and at overwatchproject.com is my website if you want to check that out. So today's video I'm going to talk to you about UFO abduction phenomena. So this actually links to everything else I talked about on my channel here, and if you're new to my channel, just a quick rundown. I study reality, try to come up with a philosophy that's coherent and a model of reality that actually makes sense in light of all the evidence without being a pseudo-skeptic, without being aware of my cognitive biases and my ego, and trying to push that all out of the way so I can just see the truth, no matter how emotionally disturbing it is. That's led me down this really weird path where I've come to the conclusion that so far the evidence shows that we are energy or spirit beings that live beyond our bodies, but we are here imprisoned in this reality, in these biological consumption containers that die and then were recycled by reincarnation. And this goes on, who knows how long it's been going on for, and for what reason, possibly to feed off of our energy or for some other thing. It could also be that we're just playing some kind of fucking game or something, I don't know, or it could be that I'm wrong and it's benevolent for some reason, but I don't think so. I can't find any logical reason that this would be a good thing for us, at least. It may be good for something else, but not for us that occupy these biological bodies and are in this human form right now. So you have the UFO abduction phenomena, and it does link to the near-death phenomena. There are similarities. You have Jesus showing up in near-death phenomena. You have Jesus showing up in UFOs. You have an NDE case here while having a UFO alien abduction phenomena. Excuse me. And you have researchers like Carla Turner. She was a great researcher who was also a victim of UFO abduction herself, who did a lot of work and wrote 3 books. They're all available for free on YouTube. Somebody took the time of having them converted to text-to-speech so you could listen to them for free. And you have professional investigators. John Mack, psychiatrist from Harvard, nearly lost his job. I believe he was at a dinner party or something and somebody was talking about UFO abduction phenomena. He decided as a genuine skeptic to investigate it for himself, examined many patients that had, or examined many people that had experienced the phenomena, and eventually realized because of his professional background, he made a professional decision based on all of his psychological and psychiatry training, and he was even a professor of psychiatry there. He decided that it was time to reveal that it was not these people were not hallucinating. They were having a genuine experience. Jalen Hynek, a professionally paid skeptic by the government for Project Blue Book, eventually came around to the fact that, hey, there's 12% of these cases I can't explain away. I think it was about 12%. And eventually said there's something to this phenomenon. Spent the rest of his life researching it. Toward the end of his life, also said there's something quasi-spiritual about this whole thing. I don't, so he realized that it's something more than just aliens from another planet. These beings, as Carla Turner pointed out, lie. They lie a lot, but in their lies, sometimes they do tell the truth. Or a good lie does contain elements of truth. I had a book suggestion from one of my viewers. He told me about this book, Alien Interview by Lawrence Spencer, so I actually went and got the book and read it. And this is fascinating because even if this book is fiction, the story in the book fits the model. The alien, here in this case, in this book, it's claimed that a nurse from Roswell, after the crash, there was in telepathic communication with a surviving alien entity, and that the entity supposedly told her that he was a energy being or a spirit being, and that the gray bodies are simply biological containers they create while they're in our physical universe. to operate in. The alien supposedly told her that this is a prison planet, and there are other things the alien in this book allegedly told her that are obviously also deceptive or lies. But you take this book with a grain of salt. It's an interesting read for me, especially with all the research I've done on how much the story in the book fits a lot of the information. And even if the book is fiction, it's a great work of fiction, and so it's worth a good read either way. And it does contain, like I said, a lot of elements in the story that fits our reality that I've discovered. So the another article here where a UFO abduction case where a guy had an NDE while having a UFO abduction case. So what do you have here in totality? And it's interesting, a lot of people do this hypnosis regression where they bring back the memories of what happened. And to this day, despite the fact that you have people that you can give suggestions to, that you can not just extract information out of, but you can probably put something in, no one has yet tried to, say, program a person to be able to resist the next abduction time that happens. Nobody's done that. That's a shame that's never been tried. Carla Turner said that in her research that she did discover that it is possible to resist these entities. Now, sometimes they will react. Here's what I want to point out now. There's like a tribute page on her to her work on alienresistance.org. This is also going to show you how cognitive dissonance, cognitive filtering works, and belief perseverance. So on the Christian truther end, you have aliens or demons. On the New Ager end, they're aliens. I think probably many of them believe they're from another world or something, and they're here to help. Cognitive dissonance on both sides, amazing. I mean, the New Agers, when you can take abduction, a phenomena that literally is described as being abducted, and then the things that happen to these people are really a violation. You can call it rape almost. And then you have these people in the New Age movement or whatever, a lot of these UFO benevolence people that say they're here to help us, somehow be able to filter out all the lying deception that comes from aliens, etc. And on the Christian truther side, so you have these former MUFON guys that I looked at a lot of their research. So they realized that some of the cases, or at least in cases that they were looking at, there are cases that the name and authority of Jesus Christ was used and the aliens were supposedly repelled away. Now, Carla Turner, this is where cognitive dissonance comes in. She will acknowledge that in some cases that did happen. But she also found out that in some cases that does not happen. So if the Christian truthers are right, it should happen all the time, but it doesn't. So she did say that, it was possible to resist these aliens. So perhaps you simply take control of your own mind. Perhaps their control is more based on deception than we realize, as a lot of things are in our reality. In this prison reality, we are intentionally blinded from the truth, limited to our five senses, as Rupert Sheldrake and other consciousness researchers will tell you, the brain seems to be a reducing valve to our consciousness, and the potential that people experience when they're in the NDE state reveals that, it's more than just a reducing valve. We are intentionally blinded, designed to have all these issues with our ego, with our cognitive problems, that we can't reason things out or always be on a quest for truth. Instead, we go on these belief perseverance into a belief. We're going to keep our belief no matter what mode, and resist information that enters into our mind that violates our worldview. Instead of trying to make our worldview fit the world, we try to make the world fit our worldview. And Carla Turner was a person that didn't do that. She was a genuinely honest researcher with a very open mind, and she was able to juggle many different concepts and her lectures. You can look at so many of them online. You can spend hours watching her work or her interviews. And like I said, her books have been translated into a speech, so you can listen to them for nothing, for free, and gain a whole bunch of information. And you can look at the work of, John Mack and others, J. Allen Hynek and other researchers. Now, Bud Hopkins, for example, he's another researcher who was an atheist. So when John Mack realized, hey, these beings have like spiritual qualities to them, Hopkins resisted that because his cognitive, So what are these things? How do they work? So I was thinking about this. So they have like this UFO abduction phenomena, and UFOs in general seem to both operate within our physical universe and also be able to violate what we think of as the laws of physics in many cases. I think that they indeed use some type of technology. Okay, so how do I explain this? The universe that we're in, that we are perceiving, is this materialistically based, three-dimensional universe, plus the fourth dimension being time. So you have time, space, so we experience things literally in a linear way, and we're sort of like blinded to everything else. And these alien entities, if you want to call them that, they operate when they're operating inside our material universe, they generate material things. It's sort of like an interface for them. I believe that they are higher dimensional beings of some type. They are a lot of the communication that you get from these aliens match the communication that people come back from NDE experiences from the so-called angels or saints or spirit guides that people meet. There's a lot of similarity. If you want to examine a great example of this, if you go to my website and under Mind Fuel, and there's this book, you can get it at the bookstore or Borders. This link here will take you to Amazon. However you want to get it. It is a book from Howard Storm, an atheist who had a near-death experience. And if you look at what he was told, first he has like this hellish experience. Then he has this wonderful heavenly experience with the Jesus being there. And if you look at what he's being told, for folks, and you look at UFO abduction cases where people communicate with these entities, you can see so much connection. Of some of that is virtually word for word, and you have clearly what he's shown doesn't even fit Christian dogma, but he's a Christian minister now, so you have a lot of cognitive issues. If you get to the one root problem humanity has, it's this block that we have caused by our physical brain, I think, that keeps us from reasoning through this stuff. You have to be so aware of it to hack through it, but it's a fascinating book. I recommend anybody reading it. And this book also is very interesting. Whether it's fiction or not, it's still a fascinating read. So you have these aliens, and Carla Turner would be the first one to tell you they lie, they deceive, but all good deception must contain elements of truth. So in the Alien Interview book, the alien supposedly tells the nurse that this is a prison planet. In a lot of these other abduction cases, people get their heads filled with all kinds of shit about this benevolent in the prediction of the future. They're either too far away for anyone's lifetime to see if they're true or not, or they are outright lies that later are proven false. So it's really interesting how all these things link together, and I think that they not only are they they are able to create some type of materialistic craft and bodies, etc., to operate inside of our material universe when they're conducting these abduction things or when we see craft, but I believe it's possible that during these states they are vulnerable to the same forces that we're vulnerable to. And that it does explain the crash at Roswell. The crash at Roswell, if you look into the history of that crash, happened after a massive lightning storm. There was a storm in the area. Now you would say, how would a sophisticated alien piece of technology be knocked out of the sky by lightning? If it was in fact the lightning that knocked it out of the sky, I would say it was an accident where the craft was more material than spiritual at the time it was hit. And I know this is a lot to take in, and if you don't know a lot of the background or didn't do a lot of the research, probably lost you already. So anyway, put the links underneath if you want to take a look at it. By the way, nothing on my channel anymore is monetized, including the books, the links to the books. I don't have an affiliate account anymore with Amazon, and I don't monetize my videos. I decided not to even bother try to make money with this. As a thing to show people that I'm genuine, that I'm not here to try to profit on this stuff. I just decided it's not even worth the hassle of that. I'd just rather come on here, talk to people, show them some links that they can go start their own research with. And this is, if you're coming into this whole idea here of a prison planet, real matrix reality, or you've never heard of it before, there's so much information that I can't tell you all in this video, obviously, because we'd be here for hours and hours, and I can't do that to the rest of my audience who's up to speed. But you can look at my earlier videos on my channel if you want, and I have playlists. Yes, I have some playlists that if you look at them, they'll help you out immensely. If you go to my channel and under playlists, I would start with this, The Real Matrix. Here is a great playlist, 116 videos. Some here from Graham Hancock. He's a great UFO playlist here. And if you want to listen to the Alien Interview audiobook, I have a playlist, two playlists here. Somebody actually read the whole book, so you can listen to it for free. And this one here is a great place to start. If you come here and watch a lot of these videos, there's hours and hours of material here to learn about the whole concept of the real matrix, or the Gnostic view of reality. In some cases, you could call it that, or the prison planet theory, soul net, reincarnation trap, etc. There's also I'll throw in this link here from Wayne Bush, this link, Tricked by the Light, which has an enormous amount of data on it for newcomers. So that's it. I hope my video helps me out. I hope sometime in the future a hypnotist or something may be listening to this that does regression therapy with some of these cases. Why not try to see if these people can gain control of the situation? Give them a suggestion of empowerment, so that perhaps they can. I think that a lot of this stuff, we're controlled by deception, folks. I really am starting to think that, a lot of this stuff involves deception, and deception is used in strategy when you're in a position of weakness. And I believe that we're much more powerful than we're led to believe. We're kept down in so many ways. Oh, you're the sinner, and you're the this, and you're the that, and none of that stuff jives when you look at the stuff logically and go through all the data and evidence for yourself. So I hope the video helps you a little bit, and I'll talk to you guys later. See you next time. Bye.